The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
So good afternoon or good morning, depending on your location. My name is Thurston Johnston. I'm the Senior Pre-Sales Consultant for Gemalto, based here in the UK, and I'd like to welcome you to our first Ask the Expert session of 2015. The topic for today is how can an entitlement management system benefit your organization? So hopefully everyone can hear me okay and can see the presentation. If there are any issues, please let me know in the chat window and I'll see if I can address them. I expect this to last for roughly about 30 minutes or so, depending on how many questions I receive. And regarding questions, I'll take them all at the end, but feel free to enter the questions in the chat window and I'll pick them up at the end where I'll answer them all. So the fact that you decided to join the webinar today makes us believe that you have heard about entitlement management before in one form or another. Either you are planning to implement it and are looking for the correct one, or you've implemented it already and are just looking for ways to maybe improve your business with it or make better use of it. So the focus with an EMS is generally about how you can streamline your business, integrate multiple back-office tools to reduce manual efforts. However, if a project is too complex or has a tight deadline, some of the beneficial capabilities of your entitlement management system can be overlooked. Now, taking a step back and thinking about the data which we gather whilst using an EMS, this big chunk of data really is the core strength of a successful entitlement management system. There's a lot of data which is available from your customers and the products and your software, but we often don't necessarily take the time to make use of it. With some minor investment, you can create some kind of many reports which can provide you exposure to the customer behavior. You can take advantage of the wealth of information that's available to you from the EMS. The EMS really is a tool that can help you understand what happens after the sales guy leaves the customer. Once they have the licenses, once they have the product, then it can give you an insight into what is actually happening. Today we'd like to take you beyond the basic functionality and talk about how an EMS can give you some visibility into what's happening with your product and the licenses associated with that. So quickly going over the agenda for this session today, we might have people who already have an EMS implemented in their environment. So this session today will help them understand how they could make better use of the EMS and improve their implementations, and hopefully take advantage of everything they already have with them, making sure it's ready for use. For the people who are new to implementing an EMS, this session will give an overview of what we can achieve with an EMS, and how the right decisions at the right time can drive and grow your business multiple times without huge additional investments. So we'll look at exactly what an EMS is, what we can achieve with it, some of the more advanced functionalities, and basically the benefits to software vendors. So what is an entitlement management system? So really the entitlement side is essentially a contract or definition that states exactly what a customer is entitled to in a product, solution, or service. Management of that entitlement or entitlements is performed by a technology that will allow you to create, change, enforce, revoke, and administer them. And we typically describe this as an EMS or entitlement management system. So a strong connection between the system that generates and manages the software licensing and entitlements and the back office is a vital part of any successful content rights and license delivery solution. Without connecting these systems, tedious manual work is necessary to associate customers, orders, any kind of reference numbers, and fulfillment information with their respective license entitlements, ensuring secure delivery of the license to your end customers. A good EMS will typically be composed of three parts: a tool that's centralized and easily accessible by those who actually need it and need to use it. A method or means of interfacing with back-office systems. And lastly, a way of collecting the data and reporting tools to make sense of that data. So we'll take a look at each of these points, which will give a good overview for people who are yet to implement an EMS or are evaluating what options are available to them. The management interface that you'll be using really needs to be easily accessible to the various end users and user types who will all have varying different requirements and reasons to engage with the entitlement management system. So the main user is you, the ISV or vendor, who in turn will have different departments, different people with differing roles and thus needs. So you'll access the ISV or vendor portal from where you'll be defining products and features, creating the entitlements, modifying or changing products or business models without any need to touch code or contact engineering. You will manage customers and contacts, see what they're doing in terms of activating products, see what features they're using and how often, for example, and generally manage the entire lifetime of the entitlement. The interface will usually have different sections which will be of different interest to different roles, and they can be restricted to those sections. So for example, the product manager, a very important person in this process, they need to be able to create products and features. The sales ordering team, they're the people that will be creating the entitlements, placing the orders. Marketing will have a big interest in the reports, for example, seeing what the customers are using. So you can see that we do need it to be flexible. And this applies to your customers and channel partners also if you make use of them. Customers may want to check their entitlements, register users, check usage, check their subscription status, activate products or revoke them even. If you make use of channel partners, you may want to track what they're selling and or provide them with some level of self-service for splitting entitlements or managing licenses or even some level of reporting. So these portals need to be customizable and easy to use. Really, just give your end users the chance to do some of the work for you. The second aspect is how the EMS will handle licensing and fulfillment. Now this needs to be as simple and straightforward as possible. It can be really easy to get confused with a multitude of license options, customer details, product information, billing data, and so on. One of the easiest ways to simplify a fulfillment process is to have a level of automation. The more processes you can automate, you'll lessen the chances of mistakes or errors, not to mention the improved speed of delivery to the customer. Manual data entry can lead to mistakes, especially if you're transferring information from your back-end system or CRM system to your entitlement management system. I spoke to a customer recently who was having this exact issue, and they said that just the simple process of copying the customer address, customer name, plus the license information, license details with a few reference numbers led to on average about a 50% error rate in the actual order, which meant more delays as they had to double check every single order every time. So creating products, it really should be a simple process and one that you only need to do occasionally. Some initial work for your base products, then occasionally when you have new products or updated ones. You should be able to create different flavors of products, trial products, or even customized products without the need for any intervention by the development team, engineering team. Essentially, you should not have to modify any code at all. Have the products, everything in there, and give you the chance to pick and choose what you want in there. Lastly, we already mentioned giving your end users a good experience by empowering them with self-service capabilities. It's always nice if you, the end user, can check or action something at any time of the day or any day without having to actually call a vendor. However, you as the vendor may want them to contact you, an opportunity to upsell maybe. The third aspect, and one of rapidly increasing importance and customer interest, is the collection of usage data and reporting on that. Obviously, depending on your country, there may be various laws and regulations based around this. But end-user data collection is big business across the IT industry. In the world of software monetization and development, data on what an end user is doing, i.e. what features are being used most or least, when do they activate products, is becoming critical. With this data, you can focus the direction of your product development. Maybe a feature is never used. Maybe you should be putting development into a more popular feature, for example. Sales, marketing, even customer services can all use this data to improve the product and ultimately sales. Your roadmap can be a flexible and adaptable one. So based on the data you're receiving from end user usage, the business intelligence you have at your fingerprints is very powerful, and it's up to you how you make the best use of it. And this information is also useful for your customers too. They can be notified if they're about to use up or exceed a post-paid license usage agreement, for example. Again, a good chance to sell them an extension or extra usage. Finally, you should be ideally you need to be proactive in customer contact, helping maintain your relationships with them. Send them notifications about new products, upgrades or promotions. Automate the subscription renewal notifications or upgrade reminders. Any decent EMS should be able to do this. Now, based on our industry experience with numerous customers, I'd like to discuss some examples of some of the scenarios which were faced by a lot of our customers, and then how an EMS helped them to handle those situations. Essentially, what reports gave us the information we needed. So I'll give you an idea of the value of an EMS which can bring, especially with the reporting capability it should or could have. The first scenario I'd like to mention about is taking benefit from all the information that is present within an EMS about a particular product being sold by a company. So the requirements which came up to some customers from their various departments, so the product management team, sales team, and marketing team were as follows. So the product management team, sales team, they wanted to know who owns what products, who are the big customers we have, who are the long-term customers, who are those that are big names in the industry. Whereas marketing team, they had slightly different requirements. In this instance, they wanted to know, for example, who uses a specific product version. With this information, running an entitlement report by product, they needed that information to allow them to follow up on upgrades. So say a feature XY version 2 is launched, but it's only going to be applicable to customers who are already using XY version 1. So in their particular instance, this could be a costly upgrade, so not everyone's going to want to do that. Only those who are already on a specific one prior to it. The upgrade could be an improvement, not just a bug fix, which may have been asked for by a lot of customers. So it can be sent to everyone using it proactively. Putting a report that lists all the entitlements that are against a particular product gives you this information. Next scenario is more based around customer information, and this can be used for various requirements. So typically from requests from customers, they want to know if they've got many products or a complex environment, they often need to know what do we own? Show us all that we have and that we own as per your records. Sales reps need usually a very similar kind of information. Show us all that a specific customer owns with the complete details. And here we're running a report based on the entitlements per customer. It's a nice simple request and report. And you could even have this as an option in the customer self-service portal, for example. Up next is one focuses on the entitlements and activations of a product by all the customers. So entitlement is everything a customer has bought, and the activation is every product they've activated up until now. And the requirements are primarily from sales reps, and I had a few different requests here. So first up, they wanted to get a list of their customers with all the information on everything they've bought and everything they've activated out of that list. The key thing there is that they didn't want to try and sell to a customer who has hundreds of unused licenses. Now this is something I've seen many times working in the software industry over the years. And there can be a real roadblock in the sales cycle. I've seen many times a sales guy will go back to a customer after a few years thinking, okay, I can sell them some more licenses. And we find out that they haven't used the ones we sold them 3 years ago. So it's important information to have. Relating to that, sales teams often want to get a list of customers who didn't order after a specific time. So this is potentially weeding out the tire kickers or focusing on the actively engaged customers. And then from a activation point of view, they often want to know how many of the customers have used, say, more than 90% of the licenses they bought, or they've only used less than 10% of what they bought. So running an entitlement activation report allows the sales and account reps to offer better customer service by following up on activations if it appears that a customer is having issues. So let's say a customer has bought 500 licenses, but they've not activated any yet after 3 months. Again, it's a good opportunity to find out if they're having any problems. Be proactive. Next, we have one here that I say is the most important one in the list today. There's only a few more to go. And the information we get from this type of report, i.e. the customer usage reports, can be used in numerous ways, as well as that mentioned here in the slide. So we're really getting visibility into what the customer is using. And that usage detail gives us a whole lot of information which can then be used in numerous ways to help the customers, as well as drive growth for your own company. So there can be instances where when the customer is about to exhaust their licenses, and they don't realize that, and they will need to renew pretty soon. So with the usage information from a customer, this challenge can be solved from the vendor side very easily. Another one from sales reps, they want to check the usage trends of a customer to maybe forecast their expected revenue in pipeline forecasts. On similar lines, the product management team in a company, they generally want to know how the features of a product are being used in the field. Which ones are the preferred ones? Which ones are not getting used at all or by many people? A lot of the times there are expectations of a particular feature that's been released, and the expectations was that it's going to be highly utilized by a lot of customers, and then it turns out not to be. So it's a great snapshot of what's going on with your product. And you don't have to wait for customers to tell you or fill out a survey, for example, which may not even be accurate in the first place. Now, in large organizations, there can be scenarios when an EMS is being utilized by a lot of people in different teams. And when it comes to billing of that EMS application, each team in the organization wants to know how much the people in their team or departments are using that system, and then only pay or continue paying the amount which they've used or prepaid for. I mean, this is not typically a common scenario, but in large companies with different business units, internal business units, you may have a need for this. And the entitlement generation report is perfect for this. And the penultimate scenario, looking at revenue distribution. So on similar lines to the previous one which you just looked at, there are requirements when an organization wants to know how much revenue is generated by each product when the overall offering to the market is a combination of multiple products developed by multiple teams in an organization. Optimum revenue distribution then becomes a big deciding factor for knowing the details of which products in a product suite need more investment based on how well they're being used in the field. And the scenario here is that your company sells product suites with multiple products, which are developed by multiple business units within your organization. It's very useful to know the revenue being generated by each business unit based on their contribution to the product suites. So the report looking at activations per product as part of a product suite gives you that information very quickly. And the final scenario deals with channel partners and basically kind of the visibility into them. Now there can be a lot which the channel partners are hiding, and there can be a lot which can benefit the way business investments are done at your end, based on the visibility you get from your channel partners selling your products, if indeed you do. It's very beneficial when you have transparent data of what the channel is selling. How much revenue is being generated? Is the revenue as expected or as promised by the channel partner? Is the revenue sharing in line to the amount of sales being done at the channel partner's end, for example? I've worked for a few companies that have had purely channel-based distribution, and the channel account managers really had a full-time job managing them. And one thing I saw time and time again was frustration at one end at the lack of information that some would or would not provide. And there's obviously quite a lot of times a regular thing to see some discrepancies in reported revenues against what was promised or expected, which again impacts on people's forecasts and pipeline. And from the other side of the fence, the other major issue was complaints from the channel partners about with problems selling the products. Quite often they wanted to know, was the market saturated? The hot product of the last year suddenly isn't doing so well this year. Were customers already tied to another channel partner? That cropped up a lot. So information on what a channel partner is doing is so important, and it benefits everyone, especially if you can track that in your EMS with entitlement or activation reports per channel partner. And moving on to the last third of the presentation, we mentioned automation previously, but in the final part of the webinar I'd like to go through how you can use automation to really change a workflow in the license management, and you should clearly see some of the benefits that may help you. So in this particular diagram, I want to show you how an EMS could transform this troubled back office. Now this is a typical setup for a customer without an EMS. A very, very manual process for the most part, and a lot of steps to go through and unfortunately possibly go wrong. Could you be using all kinds of tools, homegrown solutions, spreadsheets, just using pen and paper? So typically if we go through the workflow, orders are entered into the back office system, ERP or CRM. The end user will receive some form of activation key or details, maybe with the product. They install the product, then activate the product, which often you'll want to get some kind of confirmation back, which is sent to the vendor to confirm, and then you'll send the license keys to the application, for example. So it can be a very convoluted and complicated process. In this particular example, there are at least 6 steps, and each step itself will have multiple stages. So how does a company know an EMS will work for them? Perhaps their licensing infrastructure is a bit different. The good thing is that most of these steps can be automated, taking the human out of the process, freeing them up for doing more valuable work in the business. So what happens if we introduce an entitlement management system? If we hook it into your back office systems, connect it to your licensing technology, and let it do its thing. The end result is going to be the same, but that is a lot of work that no longer needs to be done manually. Nearly all the process can be automated. And it's really just a case of plugging in the various aspects into the EMS. So as you can see, an EMS can take over the workflow and the workload. An EMS can connect to the CRM, the ERP, the licensing technology, allowing all the customer licensing related data to flow in and out of the EMS. Once those back office systems are communicating, EMS can then automate all license and management functions. Customer service team can go back to their core area of focus, assisting customers, not necessarily fulfilling licenses. And customers will appreciate an easy, streamlined process for obtaining products and licenses. Since everything now will flow through the EMS, the system can easily track usage and create specialized reports if needed. As a standard feature, an EMS should be designed to integrate easily with those CRM and ERP systems and be able to easily have some sort of connector for them. So integration provides automatic synchronization of customers, contacts and product definitions between EMS and the software vendor's ERP, making it virtually seamless to generate licensing entitlements from within their ERP systems. Once integrated into that CRM, they can start also associating contacts with these software entitlements and activations as well. The good thing here is that you could hide your EMS completely out of the way and just use your systems that you're comfortable with. And there's more. The delivery of your software, that can be automated also, and that's an increasing trend across the industry. It's becoming more and more commonplace. So typically, whether it's you receive an email with a download link, or a web portal could be used, for example, for user registrations and activations. Your end users can enter their details. An entitlement is created with this information in the background automatically. Then they can be presented with a download button or link with the activation code. The EMS will validate this, and then a license can be generated and sent to them. The whole process can be automated and transparent to the user, or you could have some level of manual approach or contact, so the customer has to enter some kind of information. Another important feature is notifications. Automating customer notifications can save a lot of time and be a valuable tool for keeping your company in the minds of the customer. Keeping customers updated with the latest product information, solutions to important issues, even down to information on the latest version or upgrade can automatically be sent to customers. And again, of course, you can also use this to upsell services or related solutions you may be offering. And one of the most important notifications you'll want to send from a customer relationship or contact and revenue perspective is some kind of renewal notification. So it obviously depends on what license you have in place, obviously subscription, for example. But it's vital that you have some kind of contact with your customers if their subscription or licenses are about to expire. 30 days, 7 days, or whatever's relevant to your company. As long as it's in advance of the end date of their contract or entitlements, an automatic notification can be sent. So basically, be proactive. Be in their minds about renewing. Make it easy for them to renew and give them the time to make it happen. They may need approval or some kind of sign-off, so give them advance warning. You may also want to give them some kind of grace period where they have a few days after the license has expired to renew. All of these notifications are good excuses to talk to your customer again. So as we come to the end of today's presentation, I'll finish with a brief summary and just give you an example of how Gemalto handle entitlement management. So for companies who have some kind of license enforcement in place, whether it's homegrown, a commercial solution, an EMS can make your life much, much easier, giving you structured control over your products, easily changing them or modifying them without touching code, maintain existing license models, and easily implement new ones, giving you visibility into what's happening with your software at a product and an entitlement level, all the while allowing you to build a product, protect it once, and offer multiple versions of it. If your organization has acquired other companies with their products, you'll need a more streamlined EMS, more flexible one able to handle different licensing technologies that the acquired company might have been using, for example. If you have complex licensing requirements, the EMS needs to handle that and give you options to customize and adapt. And of course, as we mentioned a few times, you need to be able to have that connection to your back office systems. For those already with an EMS, you can really enhance your user experience by enabling your end users to automatically purchase, activate, renew, or maybe even return products without needing to contact your customer support team with, as we saw before, some kind of end user portal. And those EMS owners already and users, I can't stress enough that it's imperative that you make full use of it. It's a really powerful tool that you have at your fingertips. You have the potential to improve your customers' experience, improve your business operations, improve your products, and give more visibility and information on revenues from your software. So as I bring this to a close, I just want to briefly mention what we at Gemalto offer. So we have a long-term respected and comprehensive entitlement management solution, namely Sentinel EMS from the Sentinel brand. Sentinel EMS is really the backbone to our own license enforcement technologies. But we've enabled it to also work with any third-party or homegrown licensing solution. We offer a browser-based centralized license management interface from which you can very quickly create products and features, collect and report on data from your customers, and fully manage hardware keys or dongles, software licenses, and more even cloud-based licenses. We offer a complete solution along with a great professional services team behind that who can work with you with your own systems to help you implement a licensing strategy or how best to integrate and use an EMS. And the key aspects of the Entitlement EMS that may be of interest to you. It's a highly customizable product that you can tailor to you and your end users' needs. We have that integration with any licensing technology, whether it's ours, homegrown, or a third-party enforcement technology. We have pre-built connectors that allow you to easily integrate with back-office systems. We also give you the full web services to perform that yourself. So you can perform all of your license and entitlement management from your favorite CRM or back-office system. You can automate your processes. The system scales up really well. And just from a personal point of view, when I first came to the company and saw Sentinel EMS for the first time, it was such a very straightforward, easy-to-use application that it's quite simple to get quickly up and running with. So I'd highly recommend you take a look at it from our website. Maybe play around with the trial version or ask for a demonstration, and we'll be more than happy to show its capabilities. Our solutions really do what they say on the tin. Whatever markets, whatever industry or vertical, whatever platform or business model you have, we do have a solution for you. And that brings me to the end of our presentation today, and I really want to thank you for your time today. So I'd like to invite you to ask any questions you may have in the chat window, and I'll go through them if any come through. This webinar is recorded, and the information will be made available to you all. So yeah, if there are any questions, please enter in the chat window, and I'll go through them. Alternatively, if you want to ask me any questions about how we handle entitlement management, how we can help you and your customers, or even any of our products, you can contact me at any time. My email address is thurston.johnston@gemalto.com. Okay, so a few questions are starting to come through, so let me just so the questions come through, do we have any standard APIs for back office integration? So we provide, all of our back office integration is done through web services, so that's pretty much anything you can do in our EMS system can be exactly duplicated in your back office system, and we provide you with all the web services that enable you to do that. So if you have the time and expertise, that can be easily done. Alternatively, we do have standard connectors for things like Salesforce, Dynamics, for example, and we can help you in creating that with our professional service team. But really, any back office system that's out there, as long as it can use web services, yeah, we can integrate with that. And it really does improve the whole workflow. Okay, so looks a little bit quiet out there. Oh, another question's come through. So another question coming through. Let's bring it up. What if we want to provide a licensing portal for our end users? Do we have a way to do that? Yes, we do. With EMS, we, depending on the sort of version that you have, we have both a customer portal and also a channel partner portal. And that'll allow you to do things like activate products, revoke the licenses, see exactly what entitlements you have, and that customer portal can be completely customized to with your company's logos, your visuals, and what we've seen many customers use this for is, again, a lot of people using it for cloud-based solutions, SaaS applications, taking our customer portal, building the SaaS application into that, using it for downloading the application, for example. It's a very flexible portal we have, and that comes as standard with the products. Okay, so looks like it's been a bit quiet today, so unless anything final comes in, as I say, you can contact me at any time. Definitely encourage you to check out the websites and take a look at EMS and some of the other solutions. We're happy to talk to you about any kind of solution and how we can help you or how you can help yourselves. So, yep, if that's it, I will end the presentation. Thank you very much for your time today, and I hope you have a very good day. Thank you very much.